Hello! I read 15 books in the month of December and most of them I vlogged, so I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Let's jump right into it. So the first one I read was Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren, starting off December with a cute holiday romance. I don't know why my copy is blue. I thought these books were green. Oh well, I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook was fun. I enjoyed myself reading this. I don't have too much more to say about it than that. Then I read A Vow, So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer to finish off the Cursebreakers trilogy. I liked this one. I think that A Curse So Dark and Lonely is still my favourite in the trilogy, which was the first one, but this one was pretty good and I kind of had a fun time reading it. Then we're kind of getting into the Goodreads Choice Awards books. So then I read Alone by Megan Freeman, which is a dystopian middle grade story told in verse, which I quite enjoyed but is quite brutal, so be careful of that. Then I read Starfish by Lisa Phipps, which is also a middle grade told in verse, but this one is contemporary and about a girl who is forcing the people around her to accept the fact that she's fat but still a valid person. And there's nothing wrong with being fat. I enjoyed that one too. Then I'm, as I said, being brief about these because I've spoken about them at length already in those vlogs. Then I read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare, which is book 2 in the Last Hours trilogy. I enjoyed this but found it very aggravating in a lot of places because the characters just don't talk to each other, and so many of their problems would be resolved if they just had a frank and open conversation. And the thing is that I get that talking about your feelings with people, especially romantic feelings towards those people, is difficult, but still so frustrating. Then I read, where is it? Beasts and Beauty by Saman Chainani, which is a collection of fairy tales retold in an empowering sort of way. I liked this, but I'm not entirely clear on who the appropriate audience for it is, because although it's in the middle grade category, I don't know that that audience would want to read this. Maybe I'm wrong, but hey, that's how I felt about it. Then I read Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan, which is a standalone middle grade fantasy about a girl who attends a nautical academy which is blown up and by a rival school. Yeah, bit of an interesting premise for a middle grade story, but it was a fun little adventure. It's quite short, it's standalone, so I enjoyed it. Then we have Never After, the 13th Fairy by Melissa de la Cruz. I absolutely loved this. It was my number 1, and this reminded me a lot of the Keeper of the Lost Cities series in terms of vibe and, well yeah, vibe and epicness, but this was scaled down slightly, so it's more appropriate for a slightly younger audience, I'd say, than Keeper is. Keeper, as I said in that vlog, is a little bit more upper end of middle grade, and this is a little bit lower end middle grade. I really enjoyed this. Great book. Super fun time. Then I read a book for the Secret Santa thing, which I've already put a review up for, so you can go and watch that if you want more thoughts, but this is The Demon King by Cinda Williams-Chimer. I enjoyed it. Pretty classic fantasy. There were bits that were sort of based in a forest. I particularly enjoyed those. I liked it. Then, because my hold of the audiobook came in and I've been wanting to read this, and it was one of my most anticipated of the year, I read The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. Now, this is a bit of a weird book. It's about Jane Lawrence, who arranges a marriage. Well, actually, her name is Jane, and then she has a maiden name that I can't remember, and she arranges a marriage to Dr. Lawrence, and he agrees on the basis that she never visits his manor house outside of town. And of course, she visits the manor house outside of town. It's basically like a creepy ghost story type of book, but not too scary, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to cope with it. It wasn't really that scary at all, to be honest. It was creepy. There were definitely creepy vibes, but I didn't feel scared per se. I thought it was good, but it is a bit weird. I'm not sure that, you know, it's not in my top 10 of the year, but I did enjoy myself reading it, but quite strange. Another book that, just because the audiobook came through and I fancied listening to a little bit of a romance while I learned to make macarons, which I learned to do this winter season, was Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon, which just a fun, easy romance book with a little bit of a mystical element to it, because our protagonist can see the life cycle of a relationship when she sees people kiss. A bit weird, but just go with it. It was good fun. It's super predictable. It's a YA romance. You know exactly where it's going, but I still had a good time reading it. Then, because I really felt like I wanted to continue that romance thing, I decided to reread The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I just really enjoy this book. I'm not going to say anything else. I've already wrapped up that book once this year, so we're going to move on. Then, where is it? I read Arupa at the Gates by Sabatir so that I could read A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabatir for the Goodreads Choice YA SFF reading challenge I was doing. I didn't really like this. I nearly DNF'd it a few times while I was reading it. The only reason I didn't is because I wanted to read the final book for that reading challenge. The Things I Do For You. This honestly was just boring. I found it really boring. I found it really slow. I didn't really care what was happening to the characters. I liked Helene's perspective, but other than that, not really an enjoyable read for me, sadly. Then my penultimate book of the year was Iron Widow by Shiran J. Zhao, and this I loved. I loved this book. It was so good. It's very brutal, so be aware of that, but it was just brilliant. The characters were great, the plot was great, the world building was great. I can't say enough good things about this. It was really, really good. I mean, it's my most recent read that I really enjoyed, so I'm like hyping it a lot, but I think it deserves it. It was a really, really good book. And then I finished off the year with A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabatir also. When did I read? Did I start in November? Do you know what I've just realised is that I didn't put in a finished date for Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I did definitely read this in December. So I actually read 16 books in December. I can't remember when I finished this, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in some time around the middle of December. And just, you know what's annoying about this is that I'm now at 159 books read in 2021 instead of 158. 158 I was okay with, but now I really wish that I'd just pushed myself to read like a manga or something last night so that I could have been at 160. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't. Anyway, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart. This was also for the reading challenge, so I've given full thoughts, but I enjoyed this one. I thought it was cute and fun and quick and easy, and I look forward to the sequel because this is quite open-ended, so just be aware of that. And then I finished the year with Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabatir, book 4 in the Ember Quartet. Super happy to end the year ending a series. That's pretty cool. And I liked this much better than books 2 and 3, but I didn't love the ending. And I'm leaving it there. So this was super quick. If you want more detailed thoughts on any of these, I've done vlogs and book reviews. There are only a couple in here that weren't included in those, so if you want to hear more thoughts about any of them, then you can let me know in the comments and I will let you know. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks. Bye. I don't know if I can lift these. It's gonna be really heavy. Oh, the things I do for thumbnails. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, so heavy. Oh, my wrist is about to fall off. Okay. Where am I gonna put these? I don't have any space. Okay. I can stop this recording.